This is the download from Sounds Profitable, your daily source for the essential news in the business of podcasting. I'm Gavin Gaddis. Here's what you need to know for today, Monday, June 2nd. Actually, before I get into the top story, a quick reminder that tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, as you're listening to this the day it comes out, Quill is hosting a webinar with founder Fatima Zaidi and Sounds Profitable partner Tom Webster. Over the 45-minute presentation, they will cover how to understand who your listeners are, how to track listener journeys across platforms, how to align podcast performance with business goals, and how to improve podcast ROI. Registration is free and available with the link in the show notes. See you there. For our first story, American Public Media parting with Brains On Universe. This afternoon, a representative from American Public Media made available to Sounds Profitable an internal memo from American Public Media President Chandra Kavati regarding Brains On Universe, a collection of educational, kid-focused podcasts. The brand, including award-winning series like Brains On and Smash Boom Best, are now for sale as APM looks to find a new owner for the Brains On universe. Kavati says the sale is motivated by the realities of monetizing and growing kids and family content, which have shifted to favor enterprises with more capital and scale than memberships, grants, and sponsorships can provide. In the interim, 15 positions are to be eliminated, with a Brains On Universe production team being given the option to extend 2 more weeks to thoughtfully inform the younger audience of the podcasts winding down production until a new home is found. Interested parties may contact Kavati with the link we're providing in the newsletter version of today's episode. Next up, study. Podcast ads can help radio brands fill the gender gap. RadioInk covers Tom Webster's latest article, sharing data from the advertising landscape. As Webster pointed out, respondents to the advertising landscape survey show the difference in recall for podcast ads is 1% among genders. A difference so small it's statistically insignificant, the full numbers being 86% for men and 85% for women. By comparison, AM/FM radio has a gap of 86% of recall for men and 75% for women. Article writer Cameron Coates goes on to highlight podcasting's synergistic relationship with traditional radio and how podcast ads can help bridge that existing gender gap. The second chapter of the advertising landscape, focusing on attention and trust metrics, debuts this Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can sign up with a link, as usual, in the show notes, both for Tom Webster's webinar, and you'll also be among the first to receive the report after the show concludes. Next up, internet advertising spend reaches $4.2 billion Australian in March 2025 quarter. As the headline says, IAB Australia's new internet advertising revenue report, published today, finds the market grew 11.6% year over year in Q1. 79% of agencies surveyed say they plan to increase their podcast investments this year. Audio investment overall grew 18% year over year, reaching 77.3 million Australian dollars. And for our final top story, how we actually sell podcasts to skeptical decision makers. Jar Audio has published an article going over the process of pitching podcast productions to decision makers who still need convincing. Decision makers likely even listen to podcasts and academically understand their popularity, but moving to commit money to podcasting is the big step. JAR starts with don't pitch what you love, pitch what you actually care about. They also start with existing pain points before weaving in the story of why a podcast would be a good idea. Few CEOs are actively stressing about not having a branded podcast for their company, but they likely are thinking about things like content budgets and stagnant growth, things podcasts can help with. As for the rest of the news, after 16 years and over 1,600 episodes, WTF with Mark Maron is set to end this fall. Moguls of Media, in partnership with Forever Dog, has kicked off Pride Month with the launch of R&R with Courtney Act. Forbes covers Stephen Bartlett becoming co-owner of creator commerce platform Stan. A new festival circuit trailer for Age of Audio, a documentary about the evolution of podcasting, has been uploaded ahead of its June 29th premiere at the Oak Cliff Film Festival. Interviewees in the documentary include Ira Glass, Kevin Smith, and of course, Sounds Profitable's own Tom Webster. iHeartMedia is launching a broadcast to podcast series titled True Crime Tonight, which will air live on iHeart radio stations, followed by a podcast version uploading the following day. 8 kids and family podcasts have teamed up to emulate summer reading initiatives with the Summer Listening Challenge, in which participating kids are able to listen to 2 tie-in episodes from each participating podcast, and if they log them in a downloadable tracker, they will be rewarded for completing all 16 with congratulatory videos from all 8 podcast hosts. And finally, the information covers venture capitalists who are interested in voice AI startups. Be sure to check out the links to every article mentioned right in your podcast listening app or at soundsprofitable.com, where you can also find the way to sign up for the newsletter version. The download is written and produced by myself, Brian Barletta, and Tom Webster. For Sounds Profitable, I'm Gavin Gaddis. Download us again tomorrow.